fuck's going on there, Hop Wolves? It's your boy, Italian Ice, aka Ari Lombardozzi, back with another segment of Howl at the Moon. I am flying solo again today. Todd has another job, and it's always getting in the way of what really matters here, which is talking to our favorite artists and our new friends, which always stoked. We've got the guys from Horrorhub, amongst many other things. I have Josh BALZ and Nathan BRYNER. What's good, homies? How you doing today?
Good, man. How's it going?
Nathan, that's it? That's your intro? Hey, good, man. Like,
well, I'm waiting for you to say something.
The thing is, I like this because Nathan doesn't do these very often, and I want to see how he carries himself in it, because he's like, oh, I don't do podcasts. He's like, so it's fine. I just want to kind of put him on the spot and see how he reacts to being nervous. I can tell he's nervous.
Yeah, I had to pick up your dead air spot, Mr. Streamer.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting. I want to make everybody uncomfortable. I've done 4 podcasts this week. Plus I've streamed 4 or 5 times this week. So it's like, I'm always like here. So it's like my comfort zone, and I'll fucking talk forever. I'm an asshole. But no, I mean, I'm good. I mean, it's our season. So it's one of those things where it's like, finding time to do literally anything is such an issue, but we always make it work.
I mean, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I know I was talking to Nathan before this, just the fact that everyone's schedule, especially this month, is hella crazy. So it means a lot to me as a fellow spooky lover that we're going to do this. And before we get into the actual, I always like to say the mean potatoes as like a little nod to Fast Five with The Rock saying that. But since we are in spooky season, give me like a couple of your definitive like Halloween movies, because now it's the 28th of October is when we're recording, so it's crunch time for a lot of people. I know it's sad. I hate to even bring that up, but
yeah, it's kind of depressing.
Very.
Nathan, what have you been watching? Do you watch like Mamma Mia? Is that what you watch?
Mamma Mia, Bronx Tale. What else we got going on over here?
The Olive Garden training video.
Olive Garden training, No, I've been, obviously I'll watch the 80s Halloween movies over and over and over. I drive my girlfriend crazy because we've probably watched the same ones 15 times now in the past week.
Hell yeah.
Just AMC, morning, day, night.
Yeah, AMC is kind of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then whenever there's nothing good on there, I've got some cheesy horror movies on Amazon. What was the one we watched? Bad Candy was actually really good. It has Corey Taylor.
I was about to say, that's my friend did that movie. Yeah. My friend Scott Hansen directed that movie. He actually asked me to be in it like a while ago, and I was like, I would love to, but I'm super busy, and I should have said yes because it came out awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked on it. And everybody listening to this, they haven't watched it or bought it, please buy it. It's Bad Candy. It's the director is Scott Hansen. He's one of my great friends, and Corey Taylor is in it. And then I don't watch shit. I mean, I'm just so busy. It's like by the time I hit my bed, I'm like, whatever. The only movies I've watched so far, I watched Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4, anticipating
replay
the new. So that was my October.
Yeah.
Okay. I always say that I'm gonna like dive into stuff and do some like what else I watch? Like Young Frankenstein I watched, and what else is a fucking
about Halloween Kills? Did we all watch that? Did you watch that one yet, Bob?
I didn't see it yet. I've been trying to make some time to do it, but it's like fuck, like it's like literally every business I own right now is like this is it. So it's like for me to watch, I'll watch, nowhere to lie, 1 movie a month is usually my time and space to watch anything. And 9 times out of 10, if I watch more than that, it's because I'm watching it on a plane.
Yeah.
So it fucking sucks because I would love to watch movies, but I have like an ADHD problem where I'm like, I'll start and I'll be like, well, there's that in the garage. See you like.
Or there's Instagram. That's my issue. I'm always on Instagram or something when I'm watching a movie. And
I just feel like there's always work. There's always work to be done. So it's always like, do I take time and value my own time, my personal time, or do I sit down and watch this movie? And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go work. So, long story short, Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what I watched, and Young Frankenstein is it. It's all I got so far.
I mean, that's more than most people, though. Like, unfortunately, it's just like, you know, you catch things here and there. So at least one is good in my book. Because we tried to, my fiance and I always try to do 31 days, like 31 movies, but it almost never works out. I think we've got like, I think we did like 12 or 13. Like we went to the drive-in to see Halloween Kills and the new Candyman, which was a great, loved the new Candyman. Highly recommend.
I need to go see it.
Yeah, they just do like it. I really like what they did with this one and the first reboot of Halloween, the 2018 one, where they just take the pre-existing like mythology and the lore and they just expanded on it instead of like trying to essentially rewrite what was going on. So it's like it's got that fresh feel, even though it is a sequel. And Candyman does that to a T. One of my favorites from this year.
That's good. I definitely need to make time to watch it. It's definitely on my list.
I love we're in the age of like the reboots because I mean I'm an 80s horror fan. Like I just love those movies. So I like seeing what their vision and what their finished product is. Sometimes you're disappointed. Other times I'm super stoked about it, but it's the excitement of like, okay, they're going to screw this up or am I going to be happy with it? But we're getting to see that with all of these now, you know, Halloween, Scream's coming back. I mean, the Candyman, you know, all those, some of my favorites they're doing that with now. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't care. Everyone's like, don't fucking remake shit. I'm like, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I mean, do whatever. I'm like, sprinkle in sequels. And if you don't want to see it, don't watch it. Like, if you want to be a purist, you want to be a gatekeeper, then stay in your cage. Like, they fuck shit up. But
well, whatever. I was trying to explain the other day how the Halloween series. So like my girlfriend was like, this movie doesn't make sense compared to the other one. I said, let's get started on the Halloween series. So you have 1 and 2 that go together. And then 3 doesn't even include Michael Myers. 4 and 5 don't acknowledge the other ones. And then H2O doesn't acknowledge 4 and 5 or 2. It's a total mess. But I understand it. I get where it all goes. But
it's
trying to explain that to someone.
Yeah.
I take every single movie I watch like it's its own movie, whether it's 1, 2, 3, a sequel, a prequel. Like I watch them how they are. Like that's like the shit, like the Ghostbusters female reboot. Everyone hated it. And I was like, it was a good movie. It was a shitty remake. Don't get me wrong. Like it was a horrible Ghostbusters movie, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, so I was just like, I don't judge anything based on, I give everything a clean slate. Like Aladdin, they remade Aladdin. As an Aladdin movie, I hated it, but as a movie by itself, I was like, this is great. A horrible example, but
So from horror to Aladdin,
horrible. Horrible.
There you go.
No, I love Aladdin. I'm not gonna lie. I love Disney movies. I'm such a pussy.
I think you need the balance though. Like I watch SpongeBob almost every single day. Like I'll watch that and then go into like an extreme horror movie. I was gonna say like August Underground, but like that's kind of obscure, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the balance is correct. I think you need to hit both worlds, and it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah,
that's where Freeform does it right. It's Freeform, but it's horror. 31 Nights of Halloween. So
and I mean a lot of the classics too. Like you know, you can't watch Hocus Pocus and not think of like Halloween and just like spooky season. And that's just a classic for whoever.
Yeah.
A horror fan, like casual fan. Like that's just a nice, like, I'm sure we call our fans the Hop Wolves, are so sick of hearing like about like transcending genres. I usually talk about that with film or with metal, but that's another one like that just kind of transcends genres. Like it's just appealing to everyone, which is fucking dope.
Fair.
Yeah.
But speaking of appealing to everyone, as it should be, one of the main things I want to talk to you guys about is Horrorhub, which I know Josh is proudly displaying right now, and we'll get into the portion, the down to hell portion of it. But for those of you unfamiliar with Horrorhub, give me a rundown. Like, what is it, and why should people be excited about it?
So Horrorhub is a lot of things. It's a marketplace to connect buyers and sellers of all things horror merch. So it's an open-ended marketplace where our sellers are different vendors. I think Ari, you're a vendor on Horrorhub, actually.
I am, yes.
Proud
to be.
That's the concept. We wanted to create our own niche like marketplace for us spooky weirdos and stuff. You know and that the marketplace is the one aspect of it, but then it's branching off into other things, you know, like our Twitch stream. And then we have a lot of other cool ideas lined up that you'll see in the next year or so come to fruition. So, you know, as a brand.
The big one was we just wanted to make a community. Like everyone is just so awesome and so great, like in the horror community, that this doesn't exist. And it blew our minds when we found out that it doesn't exist. And to be able to bring this to the masses and to bring all of that horror community all to one place where like it's a respect thing. You know, we wanted to do something we love. We didn't want some corporation to grab a hold of it and just be like, you know, this is what this is. Like we're dudes that love fucking weird shit and spooky shit. And like, that's when, you know, like we wanted to start a community and start like a platform where everybody knows what they're getting into. You know, you don't want to coin, I don't want to coin like the Amazon of horror or the Etsy of horror. We're just Horrorhub, you know, all things horror all the time, all day, every day. And that's all we want to portray is like, we want to live in our lane and stay in that lane. Like we love horror. We love the niche of it. We don't want to gatekeep anybody and be like, this is what you should like. This is what you should like. We don't do like this. It's this, you know, like our arms are wide open for the horror community. And whether that has to do with vendors or, you know, anything, like we're here for the horror community. And that's what our main address is, to bring everybody together. Do you agree, Nathan?
I do. Yeah. I mean, the horror community is such a tight knit group and community, and so inclusive. So, I mean, there's different sections of the horror. I mean, you know, you have horror, then you have the haunt industry and different things like that. And it all kind of ties together. And we wanted to create, like BALZ said, it doesn't exist yet. There's not a spot where we can all come together on one marketplace or one area. So, you know, that's the first part of it. And then we're jumping into like a social area of it. You know, a community basis, I guess is what we're trying to say is, you know, we really want to be community driven, community based with this, whether it be the horror icons or the haunt industry or horror, you know, merchandise makers. Everybody is so tight knit, and we learned that from the conventions that we go to, and seeing like just the different relationships that these people have with horror, and their different backgrounds. It's really, really cool. It's cool meeting a lot of our supporters and, you know, providing what they're enthusiastic and excited about. So.
Yeah, I mean, just even going on to the website itself and just seeing the wide array of what people are doing. Because like you said, it's not just one, like it's not just masks. It's not just like T-shirts. It's not just, you know, your normal memorabilia. It's some really cool, very unique takes on a genre that we all love so much. And that is hard to come by because, I mean, you get a lot of the same things when looking at merchandise. And that goes with anything. But it just seems like such a really cool community. And have you gotten like some good response from it then? Like even just the vendors on there, like there's quite a few just with over the last couple months.
Oh, it's been great. The response from everyone. I mean, that was one of our concerns when we first launched this, you know, how we were going to be, you know, what the reception was going to be, or if we were going to be accepted into the horror world. Even though, I mean, we are all huge horror fans, I mean, just growing up until now. You know, but it's tough breaking into an industry. But from our first convention, the excitement and reception from everyone has been absolutely amazing.
We were terrified. We were absolutely terrified. Yeah. We were like, fuck these guys. What are they trying to do to our community? We're like, hey, one of you.
Yeah.
Cool.
One of you. We're just trying to bring everyone together, you know, but yeah, we were super nervous. And, you know, our first convention was the Trans World Convention in St. Louis, which is like the Super Bowl of the haunt convention. So, I mean, we dove in, man. We went into the deep end.
Yeah.
And the reaction, though, after about the first hour, and just seeing everyone excited about what we were doing and curious about what we were doing. And they were all on board. And then after that, more and more conventions would meet more and more people. They're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, we've been waiting for this. So yeah, it's been great. It really has. That's really helped us with coming up with other ideas that I think everyone's going to love, that we're going to be launching here in the next, you know, few months into the next year, and even ones that we have a few years from now. There's going to be a lot of cool things under the Horrorhub umbrella.
That's awesome. And I love like hearing the term umbrella, because just with horror in general, all I can think of is like the Resident Evil umbrella, and you guys just pop it up. It's a nice red and white one. I'm like, oh, this is very fitting. But it's, to your point, coming off of the conventions, like I didn't really think about it until you had mentioned that, but like Horrorhub is essentially convention all the time.
Yeah.
And that's always so cool. And having done a few myself with Death Dealer Productions, like it is just, once you're actually like immersed into like that little world, like everyone's so supportive and so nice. And it's just really cool to have that like community access all the time.
Yeah.
With Horrorhub.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of how it started. As like an online convention in a sense, because so I went to the special effects school at Tom Savini special effects school to learn how to do the mask, makeup, all that fun stuff. And then, from that, I was like, how can I turn this into something that without going and working in like a shop or, I didn't want to do the traditional, I didn't want to go work on movies or anything like that. So then 2020 hit, everything was shut down. I have a background in marketplaces. One of our other partners has a background in marketplaces, and we're all into horror. BALZ is super into horror, and he has the metal background. We're like, how can we kind of create an environment where everyone can come together online? Because there are no conventions right now. These bands aren't able to meet their icons right now. They're not able to get merch that they typically would. So that's kind of how this was born. When everything was shut down, you're like, okay, let's create a marketplace. Let's create an environment that's where we can bring everyone together on there.
You had mentioned, Nathan, that you are the special effects background with I always got love for Tom Savini in that school. It's so cool. And before we started recording, found out that everyone is you guys are currently in Pennsylvania, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania. So it's always really exciting to meet fellow Keystoners, if you will. I don't know. I just came up with that.
Yeah, that's a good word, actually. Yeah, I'll take that.
So, but you guys are in different parts of Pennsylvania. So how did your like friendship come, and like where did the idea of Horrorhub come from? Obviously, like we covered that, but just your previous relationships and saying like, this is like, these are my people. This is who I want to do this marketplace.
Honestly, I give that to Bobby Shabinsky, who owns Blackcraft. He's one of my best friends in existence, and I know he's one of Nathan's really good friends. And Nathan reached out to Bobby and was talking about this thing. He said, "Hey, you need to call BALZ. Like, this is like right up his alley. This is what it has to do." And then me and Nathan got on a phone call, and then we met, and then it was just like, we just like honestly meshed together really well. We worked together really well. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, what he says, I agree with. What I say, he agrees with. Like, we get each other's lane. So it was like almost like it fit so well to just be like, all right, this makes sense. Let's do this, Okay. So, that kind of is where our friendship started, and then our business after that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really cool to hear, because sometimes, you kind of get into like a forced partnership, and then like maybe you become friends afterwards. So that's dope that you guys had the friendship already, and this is just kind of like a nice little topping. Kind of going off of that, I mean, we'll get back to the Down to Hell, which Josh again has as his background. You're working with horror icon Doug Bradley, and if you don't know who Doug Bradley is, you're dumb, but that's okay. We're here to explain. Pinhead from the Hellraiser series. How did that come about? Because if I remember correctly, like Doug's in Pittsburgh, correct? Or like he was at one point? I met him in Pittsburgh.
We're all some Pennsylvania boys.
What's the word? Keystonians. We're all Keystonians.
Keystoners. Yeah. That's awesome. So like, how's the reception been as far as that go? And can you give us a little bit of insight as to like what the show is about? I mean, it's awesome, but for those of everyone that doesn't know.
Well, I mean, it just, Doug is like the best dude. Like we've known him for a little bit now. And like every time we get with him, it's just like, we just like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's always like, yes. Like he's just such a nice dude, and he takes everything in stride. And so I have another Twitch show called Space Zebra. So we interview bands, we do all this stuff in the music world, which I come from, but I wanted to do kind of the same thing in the horror world, where we have Doug is just, it's his world. He brings in horror icons. They just talk. It's not an interview. It's not So I told Doug, I was like, hey, I don't want you to think about questions. I want you to just, when this person comes on, just have a conversation with them. And he's like, I absolutely love that because I've been answering the same exact questions for the past fucking 30 years, 40 years, whatever. And he's like, this is great. You know? So it's like, it's honestly conversation street where it's just like, hey, you know, like, remember that one time we were drinking sodas down in Florida and that lady walked by and she fell on the ground? Like, it's conversation, which means it makes it way more personal. So it's like one of those things where and then we'll sprinkle it with Q&As throughout. Like an episode will be like with, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago, we had Robert England. And then we had a day off where it was just Q&A where people will just talk and chit chat with Doug and ask whatever questions, as long as you don't ask how long it takes to put on the makeup, because it's the worst fucking question in existence. And then this week is Steven Zollis. And then we'll do like, just like a chat with Doug and his wife. You know what I mean? So it's just honestly conversation, which, you know, it makes it more personalized and it makes a community, it makes a family. So we're just growing that in every aspect from whether it be Twitch or Horrorhub or the things that we have coming up as well.
Yeah. And in a sense, it gives them that meet and greet, like, environment too, because it's so interactive. It's a live Twitch stream. So the followers in the chat are able to ask questions, and we'll pick out questions, or Doug will pick out questions. So, you know, it's cool because the viewers are able to feel like they're connected with Doug, which they are. I mean, they're right there. It's live. It's interactive.
Right.
So, which hasn't been done before. I mean, the only way you could meet Doug before is at a convention, you know? So that was one of the things whenever we were thinking, how can we bring this together? You know, so that was one of the ways that we brought Doug's fans together with Doug on a weekly basis though. And it's cool because you don't really get to see Freddy Krueger and Pinhead having a casual conversation too often. You know? So
no,
it's neat hearing their stories. You know, they'll tell stories about different conventions that they've done or different movies they've done together. And then people will ask insight too, like about acting or filmmaking. And I mean, it's really, really cool. It's interactive. It's going great. What do you think, BALZ? I mean, I think that every episode, it keeps me entertained still yet. So
it's one of those things where you just don't realize it's real.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it so much, is like, I used to get to watch Doug Bradley talk about whatever comes out of his mouth. It doesn't matter, because it's one of those things where you're just like, I just want to listen to this Englishman just talk. And he's so intelligent, and he's like, he's a good human being. So every week it gets better and better, because he just starts to engage with the chat more, and he's understanding Twitch, and he's getting it. He just fucking gets it, which I love about Doug.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny because like I was super nervous for like the first one. I didn't know much about Twitch. And then the second, I was ready to say literally, but Doug's probably going to pop on somewhere and say, no, you used that term wrong. So Doug he's super intelligent when it comes to.
If you use literally, he'll like smack you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's every
literal.
time I'm around Doug, like I have to think twice before I say something. Like, did I say this correctly? Or but anyway, so I was nervous about how it was going to go. The second he started talking on the first episode, I said, he is a professional. Like this dude. I mean, obviously we all knew who Doug was, but like, right. He's just reassured, like what he does. He's so natural and so smooth with everything. And yeah, he could put me to sleep talking every single night. Like his voice is just amazing.
I would love to have a headspace like with Doug Bradley narrating, but like about hell and like really fucked up things, but just in his really nice, calm demeanor, be like, this is great. Like, I guess if this is what hell is, like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm there. As long as Doug's there, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he just seems, to your guys' point, like just so genuine. And again, that is something that as horror fans, you just dream of having like that conversation or being like a fly on the wall and hearing about these stories. And again, like that just really drives the convention point home. It made me think of like, I was doing one called Horror, and it wasn't Horror, Days of the Dead here in Indianapolis before I moved to Indianapolis, and they had Sid Haig, R.I.P. friend, and Bill Moseley doing like a special like House of 1,000 Corpses thing. But Sid Haig was just like having spaghetti and meatballs like when I walked by him in the bar, and like it's like, oh cool, like this psycho killer is just like a normal person. Like obviously like inherently we know that, but to really experience that. And that's what it seems like Down to Hell is doing, is like this is a normal ass human being that just does really cool things that I really dig. And I get to have that insight. So that's awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty neat seeing, you'll watch his movies and then you'll talk to him. And just like what you were saying, this horror icon killer is such a sweet man. his voice is so soothing.
So I guess to kind of segue a little bit here, Josh, you have your music background, as you had mentioned, in the metal community, being one of the original members from Motionless and White. Are you, with everything else going on, I know you have like the Strange and Unusual, the oddities, and you've got the root beer is sick hat. I know you just started like doing your own root beer. Do you ever have time, or are you planning to do any type of like musical venture down the road? I know you had like, what was it, Strange Kids?
Yeah. So I put out some stuff and I literally have I'm in my office right now, and literally on the wall, it says find time for music. And so it's one of those things. It's just, it's dedicating a time to just, I'll put out like a song a year, like randomly with Strange Kids. And I'll probably continue to do that. I would like to get in the studio and put out like 3 songs and be able to play a show at some point in my life, just to get that feeling back. And, a huge part of my life I owe to people. Like I owe to people like fans of mine or Motionless or one of the same. And it's one of those things where it's like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have much of the things that I have today. So like music was the way to their heart then. So I would like to still be able to contribute to that part of them and give them a part of me, which they deserve. And so, I need to make time for it, and I would love to. And it's just making time, to be honest. And it's just, and then putting out whatever the hell I want, which is also nice because I'm not pigeonholed to a label telling me what to do, which is also great.
Yeah, I could imagine that gets pretty tricky when your vision isn't quite meshing with what the higher ups want you to put out.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, with what you guys are doing with Horrorhub, like this, it sounds like, every vision that you guys have collectively is coming to fruition, which is super awesome. And again, like it's really inspiring for anyone that does like weird, like horror-y shit or is into the type of music that we're all into. I have, I guess, one more comment before we start to wrap it up, and you guys can plug away for how to keep in contact. I was binging Motionless, like the first albums that you were on there, Josh.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Infamous, and then like I was looking at the album cover on Spotify. I'm like, wait, is that Black Damask like on the wall in the cover? I was like, this is like something I've never noticed. Like I've been listening to this for like 10 plus years. And I'm just like, I guess like revisiting, because I haven't listened to like any of that older Motionless in so long that it was really cool to go back and revisit like Creatures and Infamous and Reincarnate. Like just so good, man. Like,
I recently did it too. It was really weird. Like actually I was going down to see Nathan the last time I went to Pittsburgh, Nathan. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I think I'm past the point of like being bitter about it. And because life is going so well, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck it. I was like, I think I'm in the right headspace now to listen to it. And I put on Creatures, and then I put on Infamous, and I put on Reincarnate, and I was listening, and I was like, I forgot this was a part of my life. It was a decade of my life plus. And it's like one of those things where you're just like, shit. I texted Chris and I was like, hey, thank you for the great ride. I was like, I appreciate it. I was like, hope all is well, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, it was a nice little chapter that I liked. It was finally able to be like,
that's awesome.
I do appreciate and love those albums a lot. And they mean a lot to me, and they mean a lot to a lot of people, which is also blows my mind. And it's crazy.
I mean, that definitely, as like the teenage kid, like the angsty kid, just listening to that, like it resonates. And like one of my favorite moments listening to Abigail was when I first started getting into Motionless and being in Salem for the first time, listening to Abigail.
Sick.
And it was just like one of those like, oh, this is what they're talking about. Like this band's
How old are you?
I'm 30.
So, all right, this blows my mind because we're the same age.
I know.
So like when you were a teen, like listening to Motionless in White, I was also a teen being in Motionless in White. Like that stuff
That's
blows
so
my mind.
wild.
Like when we put like football players up on a pedestal and they're like 20 years old. And you're like, think about that. And it's like, holy shit. Like, and I always love when people say that because I was like, listen, I was going through the same shit you were going through. Nathan, how old are you?
35.
Oh, you're old as fuck.
Yeah,
So,
old.
but you know what I mean? It's so weird to be like, I connected with those people and they didn't realize because you don't get viewed the same way. You know what I mean? You get viewed a little differently.
Right.
You get like whatever. So it's just funny to be like, I'm 30. Oh, I'm 32, but still like if you were 16,
We're
I was
close
18,
enough.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so it's one of those things like it's crazy to look back and be like, oh, all those fans are growing up and they're growing up with me and still like supporting the things that I do and me and Nathan do as well. So it's just a fucking weird world that we live in.
A lot of them go to horror
It is.
conventions too. The crossover is insane.
All of them.
Yeah, everywhere we go, he's got some fans there.
I mean, that was definitely one of the things that drew me to Motionless. And I really wish Todd was on here because he's the one that turned me on to Motionless. And like the
Nathan's
horror
the one
element
that turns me on.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Right.
I'm getting similar vibes now just being here.
All right, go on. Sorry.
No, I was just like, that crossover in general of being very theatrical and like film is, as much as I love metal, like, and music in general, like film is like my main thing. So listening to a band that incorporates the same things that I already inherently love, be like, well, this makes sense. Kind of like how Ice Nine Kills does it a lot now. They've
definitely taken that as well and just grown it to the next level, which is super cool. I
was listening to that this morning. Have you heard the one for Doug's? It's called The Box or something. It's on the new one they just released. It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
it is.
It's crazy to be like, to paint a picture is what you should be doing with music, and to be able to cross-reference things is great. I think it's amazing. I think what people are doing now and is great. I think everyone should be doing the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's cool too, because like just talking about growing up and how we're all relatively the same age, it's like the things that you guys are making or I'm making or whoever's making are really just kind of like homages to the things that we loved growing up as kids. So now we're at the age where it's like, oh, maybe I have like that kind of money that I could do a remake of Candyman, that I could do a new Halloween. And then even though it might not be like original content because there's not like that much out there that hasn't been done before, you're still reaching a whole nother audience and doing the same thing. So like hopefully like younger generation that's watching Halloween Kills will go back and revisit the rest of the series, except Curse of Michael Myers, because fuck that one. I hate that one. But it's just really cool to see, like you said, life is weird, time is a flat circle, things come back around, and it just is exciting to see people getting excited about the things that you're doing and that you like doing.
It's kind of where I'm at with like the whole Horrorhub thing too, is because like I had mentioned, I love the 80s horror. That's what I grew up watching. That's what I still prefer over today's horror. I'll watch these over and over and over again. And I'm myself and BALZ, and we're at a point now where we can take on this project, and the saying is make every day Halloween. Well, our goal is to make every day Halloween for us. I mean, that's the life we want to live. We want every day to be Halloween. So if we could do that for ourselves, we want to do that for the horror community as well. And that's kind of what we're doing, is we're at that point.
We're doing it one thing at a fucking time.
One thing at a time.
The Strange and Unusual all year, Noir, which is my bar, which is like a goth, like spooky bar. Like we're bringing it. Like it's coming. Like I want to take over the fucking world with, and with my friends. And that's what we're going to do, is like, the more people give me power, the more I'm going to take it and fucking inject the fucking spookiness into everybody. So the more of a platform. So fucking, I'm running for president. That's it. Maybe I'll just do that and just be like, all right, every day is 1031. That's it.
Yes.
I could just see like a mixture of like the Reanimator, like the neon green, and then like the stuff just being like rained down on everyone and be like, now you're spooky, like whether you want it to be or not.
Now we're talking.
That's right.
To wrap it up, thank you guys for doing this. Again, I really appreciate it. I know, especially with how crazy spooky season is, even though it's all year round every day.
Every day.
Every day. And thank you for what you do with Horrorhub. I personally really love the website, and I can't be more stoked to hear that it's going well, because this is something that as a community we needed, that we didn't know we needed, but we definitely needed. How can everyone stay in touch with Nathan, Josh, Horrorhub in general, everything? I know you got a lot going on, so we got a couple minutes.
So, well, we're super active on Instagram. I mean, that's Horrorhub Marketplace is our name on there. Same with Facebook. You catch every update, every new product, what we're doing, everything's on there. We do live videos for conventions, all that fun stuff. There's our Twitch show, Down to Hell with Doug Bradley. That's every Thursday at 8 o'clock. We're launching Screamio soon. Want to tell them about Screamio, BALZ?
Oh yeah. Since no one knows about this, I mean, so here you go. Screamio is a platform for horror artists and metal artists where you'll be able to get virtual videos and meet and greets via Screamio. So you'll be able to go on Screamio.com, click that you want a virtual meet and greet or a virtual like happy birthday from fucking Doug Bradley, and he'll send that to you and send it right over to you. So it's it's something that we wanted to keep everything in our community. And like I said, it's a virtual convention. So here it is. We're giving you every aspect of that. And I think we're going to launch, hopefully we should just launch it fucking tomorrow.
Let's launch it tomorrow.
Let's launch it tomorrow. Let's just launch it tomorrow.
Do it today. Yeah. Just do it right now. After we're done recording.
Today. Maybe we will. But no, it's just something we wanted to offer to not only to fans, but to some of those horror icons that don't have a way to do that. There are other platforms that do the same thing, but not in our world, where it's like you don't have to sift through TikTok stars and pop stars. It's like, hey, you want Lana Quigley? She's right there. You want Doug Bradley? He's right there. You know what I mean? You want Nathan BRYNER? He's right there.
We definitely want that one.
Definitely. That's the hot seller right there.
That one's $69.
Yeah.
I think we're going to run a special for mine too, right? Nathan, mine's $6.66, right?
Oh yeah, $6.60. Why did I say $6.99? Yeah, $6.
Yeah. So we're gonna do an intro rate for my Screamio for $6.66 for until Christmas. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
So yeah, man, we have all those cool things, and then you can always find us at horrorhubmarketplace.com. That's where all the fun stuff's at.
We're very attentive to our community. We are there to answer all questions. We have a very good customer service. Nathan fields everything. Everything goes to him and he answers it so well. He even when you onboard your shit, if you need a FaceTime, Nathan will FaceTime you, or I'll fucking FaceTime you. We'll figure that out. So it's one of those things, we're here for everybody.
We're super personable with all of our vendors, customers. As long as we can handle it ourselves, we're going to continue to do that. Yeah, to where if a vendor signs up and they have any questions, I'll get on the phone with them. I'll get on FaceTime with them. I'll help them set their store up, load products, whatever they need. Same with customers. So, we just want to keep it super community based as much as we can. And if it's a horror enthusiast buying something or a horror enthusiast selling something, we're there for them. So
that's awesome. And I can also attest, I remember being onboarded for Horrorhub, and I talked to you, Nathan, and it was the same thing. It was very personable, and I felt like I already knew you, but I had never met you before. And that's really cool. And you don't get that with really any other type of marketplace online. So.
And when we grow, that's just going to come with it. I mean, that's going to be in our mission statement is just, you respect us. We respect you. We'll fucking do this together. And, Horrorhub to the fucking moon,
Hell yeah. I would love to go to Horrorhub on the moon. That'd be awesome.
We're talking. Wait till you see next year what we have planned. It's going to be good.
Some fun stuff going on.
There may be a Horrorhub on the moon,
That's idea number 10,000 that we have.
That's the list. All right, gentlemen, I have to go. Lock my store because someone forgot their keys. So before my next I have stream and shortly I have to go run over to my store and run back. So it was a pleasure to meet you.
Same.
If you ever need anything, please reach out. Anybody that's listening, please, find us. Find me at Josh BALZ on Instagram. Find The Strange and Unusual on Instagram. Noir Dark Spirits on Instagram. Drink Parlor on Instagram. Horrorhub or Space Zebra World. So you can find me pretty much anywhere these days, but please reach out. I appreciate you. If you're a vendor, please
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And we will be in touch. Happy Halloween, by the way.
Happy Halloween.
Woo! See you guys.
Season.
See ya.